Good morning. It's day 8, the start of day 8 of our 2-week no sugar, no flour challenge. And I'm glad you're with me. Now, depending on how much sugary substances and drinks you did before the 2 weeks, day 8 could be a variable for you. You could still be right in the middle of it. You got a few more days. For me, I'm not a huge sugary drink drinker. So day 8, like it struck me yesterday that the sugar slug was starting to quiet down. So what I mean by that is if you look back, I think it was day 3 or 4, you have this longing, like you miss some of the foods that you're used to having. And it's pretty strong in the beginning, like your brain is just used to, hey, tonight is pizza night. What are we doing? We're not eating pizza. I don't understand what's going on. So it's you try to fill that with as healthy a snacks as you can. That might be, some nuts or some cheese or some fruit or anything. You're just kind of shoveling things down because your brain needs something and you're not sure how to fulfill that need. But now that I've hit day 8, one, you feel great because it's the backside of the 2-week challenge. So you've made it. You made it a week. Celebrate that. And 2, your body is starting to get normalized to the new you. So you don't think about those foods that you're missing quite as much. You're kind of settling in the patterns. And if that's not you right now at day 8, that's totally fine. I would recommend just drinking a ton of water. So drinking a lot of water will kind of drown out that sugar slug so you don't hear it anymore. So here we are, the last week. So I hope you're feeling something similar to what I'm feeling, and you're just continuing to know where you're going to be and what you're going to eat, kind of keep the plan in place. Had a good grocery shopping this weekend, so you can restock your supplies and have some fresh, great stuff. So thanks again for following along on the journey, and we'll see you tonight. Hey everyone, just finishing up day 8 of the 2-week no sugar, no flour challenge. And I can't wait for you to feel exactly what I'm feeling right now. Now, everyone kind of feels the benefits of no sugar, no flour at different times, depending on a lot of variables. How well they do, what they eat, how much water they're drinking, what they ate before, like how addicted they were to sugar. But when you reach this point, for me, it's today. For you, it might be day 9 or day 10. You start to get this moment of clarity. In previous videos, I talked about the sugar slug. So just imagine something up in your brain, encouraging you to eat poorly and reminding you that you're missing out on certain foods. Around this time frame is when the sugar slug's voice becomes very diminished. And not only does his voice become diminished, but your body actually starts to regulate. So your appetite isn't as huge as it used to be, but that's okay. I don't mean you stop eating. You're still eating just fine, but it seems like at the beginning or even before, you're chasing this food. You're always snacking because you're bored or it's just something you've done. Today, as I went around on my travels, did a little work here and there, I actually brought extra snacks, but after eating my lunch, where I normally would have like a little snack baggie of peanuts or some cheese or something like that, I realized I really didn't need that. I was content. I was full. So I just didn't eat that and waited until dinner. And I had a great dinner. Quickly on the subject of dinner too, I enjoy chicken fajitas. It's one of the meals that I love to make. Of course, I'm not having a tortilla or anything like that. So this time I mixed in leftover rice into my chicken fajita mix and kind of cooked it all together, put it in a bowl, sprinkled a little cheddar cheese on top, and it was actually quite amazing. So that might actually be a meal going forward. That kind of brings up another important thing about this 2-week challenge. It helps you realize that there are ways that you can eat food that you are fine with. And you can take that after the 2-week challenge, and it helps you control your carbs or eat healthier. It just makes it so your lifestyle becomes better because you added more meals to your repertoire. A quick summary is the sugar slug is really losing its power over me at this point because I've gone long enough without it getting what it needs to survive. So even as far as last night, after dinner, I think a lot of us are trained. You have your dinner, no matter how much you eat, there's still a part of your brain that says, you need an after dinner something. So maybe it's an hour later, could be dessert, could be crackers, could be anything. But the rational part of your mind now, after this many days, starts to say, you know what, you're still content, you're still full from your dinner, so don't worry about that. I have to be honest too that last night was probably the most restful sleep I've had in a long time. So I was up, rested early, decided to go to the gym this morning, and I'm back now ready to start my day. And it's not any grogginess or anything like that. I feel pretty good. So today is a fairly normal, it's Monday, it's a work day. I've got my patterns down, got my apple already cut for the break time, got a little lunch planned. I'm not positive what we're having for dinner tonight, but I'm sure my wife is gonna make something great because I made chicken fajita stuff yesterday. So we'll see what we get. I'm definitely gonna keep you updated as this feeling progresses, and I can't wait for you to get to this point. Again, it might be day 8, 9, 10, 11, but at some point you're gonna feel this clarity, this motivation, and this ability to really see your life through that haze and that cloud that you've been living with. So keep up with me, and can't wait to share more. Hey everyone, in the beginning of No Sugar, No Flour, it's important to have some snacks identified that keep you from getting hungry between your meals, because you always want to have that feeling of being full so the sugar slug doesn't have a chance to get its hooks into you and make you want to do something that you're going to regret. Now I've got 5 options here. Now keep in mind, I'm probably one of the pickiest people that you will meet. So you're gonna have a ton more options than what I'm gonna show you, but this is what got me through. Also, I'm not saying this is the healthiest choices in the world, but I needed them to kind of get me through. And as far as the second week goes, you start to rely on them less and less. In fact, I made a rule that I couldn't have the same snack in the day unless I rotated through all 5 snacks. That kept me from focusing too much on one and eating too much like a junk food. All right, we've got some sliced apples here. Any apple will do. I love MV apples. Got a banana, great for on the go, so very enjoyable. Little baggie of cheese, different cheeses. Got some pepper jack, Colby jack, cheddar in there. A nice organic bone broth. Got some protein, also kind of fills you up like a little soup. And then finally a little bag of mixed nuts. So that's my options. So again, these are just to kind of take the edge off, and I'm finding now on day 9 that I don't need them as much. My regular meals are sustaining me, my blood sugar level, everything's kind of being maintained, so it's not as important for me to run and get some cheese or some nuts or a banana. It's just there to kind of take the edge off, and I'm using it less and less now, so good luck. Just finished a nice dinner of chicken with some sweet potatoes diced up and baked along with some broccoli, and it was pretty delicious, so I'm very content. This is going to be a shorter video just because I don't know what to say besides I feel better today than I did yesterday, and you're probably going to be like, I can't believe this guy, you know, he's been going without sugar and flour, he's not dead, he's super picky, he's on day 9, he's telling me he feels better and great, and it's just not possible. Well, all I could say is you've got to try it. Maybe it's day 10, maybe it's day 11 for you. Set the plan for 2 weeks, know where you're going to be, know what you're going to eat, and give it a try yourself. And I promise you, it will change how you look at things. I want to take a quick minute and talk about side effects. In the past few videos, I mentioned some side effects, that you experience after giving up sugar and flour for an extended period of time. And it seems like you're discovering new ones all the time. So I want to mention one that I just realized is happening. So I'm a morning person. Yes, I'm one of those strange people. I get up, 5:30, 6 o'clock without an alarm clock. It's just the way it is. Please post in the comments if you're the same way. And the downside of being a morning person is that it used to be around 2:30 to 3:30 in the afternoon, you just start to feel worn down. This is especially bad if you are at home on a Saturday and you're just kind of sitting and watching a show. You're prone to fall asleep. Or if you're working on a report on the computer at work and it's that time frame and you just are having a hard time staying conscious. So it struck me last night. I started thinking about it and I was like, you know what? I realized for the past few days I've had sustained energy level throughout the day, and I didn't feel that dip in the afternoons like normal. Now, I'm not a doctor, but I feel like you could do some research about blood sugar levels and staying constant throughout the day, which is kind of what this does. This challenge kind of shows you what that feels like, because you're not eating a bunch of sugar and spiking things up and then dropping down and spiking things up. You're staying a little more even leveled throughout the day. So when I first started this 2-week challenge 10 days ago, I was using the after dinner walk just to disrupt my patterns and get away from the house, because I feel the need to snack on something after dinner, whether it's a dessert or chips or something like that. But even though you're not going to believe this, starting on day 9, going into today, I really don't think about food like I used to. It's not something that is constantly filling up my mind. So tonight I'm just walking to walk and not necessarily to forget about snacking. As a matter of fact, today I was off of work and I was running around doing a lot of stuff around the house, walking by my pantry multiple times, and other times I would have been tempted to stop and grab a snack here and there throughout the day. You're grazing at your house. But that desire is pretty much gone after just 10 days. And like I said, you're probably not going to believe me, but you can feel this exact same way. Maybe it's day 10, 11, or 12 for you, but it will happen. You will feel this way. So I encourage you to watch all the videos that I've done so far, think about it, plan for it, and just take the challenge yourself and try to prove me wrong. Prove that you don't feel as good as this on day 10 or 11. I'd love to get across to you how going without sugar and flour becomes easier the longer that you do it instead of harder. Because I think in your mind, you're thinking, oh my gosh, it's just trudging up a mountain and I'm never going to reach that summit. But instead, I'd rather you look at it like more of a hill that you crest on day 9, 10, 11, whatever day is specific to you. I think sometimes when you give up something for a short term, like let's say you're a soda a day drinker, and you're like, I'm going to give it up for 4 days. That length of time is so short that you're just thinking about that 5th day all the time. It consumes you. Just like the first week of no sugar, no flour, it consumed me thinking about, longing for the foods that I missed that were normally part of my routine. But the secret is, the longer you go, the more that stuff gets out of your system, and the better your mind can analyze why you're feeling that way and if you really need it. So really, it takes getting to day 11, 12, 13 before you can even have a rational thought process about how this is going to be for you going forward and what you're going to integrate back in. Because you're starting to understand the health effects, you're feeling those, and now you can make a good judgment against what you felt like before. I want you to think back on your life now, as far back as you can remember, and try to think of a time when you went 2 weeks without eating processed foods, processed flour, processed sugar in one of its forms. I'm going to guess you're going to struggle to find a 2-week span when that happened to you. You might struggle to find a 1 week span or even just a few days, because it's pretty much integrated into our society. So with that said, you really don't know who you are without all that stuff in your system. So this 2 week challenge will actually give you a taste of what your mind and body feels like when you don't have everything clogging it up. So I'm just an average guy who decided to do this 2 week thing and put it on TikTok so you could follow along, at the hopes that maybe you would decide that you want that feeling of clarity also. So you really have nothing to lose, because if I can do it, so can you. So we'll see you in the morning for day 12. I want to talk real quick this morning about being in the right mindset. Obviously, this is a pretty big lifestyle change, so it's not something you can decide today that you're going to do tomorrow. There's a lot of prep work involved, which is why you'll see roughly 2 weeks worth of videos talking about how to prep yourself for the 2 week challenge. Now, even with all the prep in the world, you have to be ready and have the willpower to kind of get through this, because even if you tell everyone in your life that you're doing this challenge and you need their support, there's still going to be that person that brings you donuts every Friday at work, or those friends that stop by and offer you some candy or something like that. There's always going to be those challenges. So I want to show you real quick one of the challenges I have. So I work for a great organization, and they have a very specific snack policy. That policy is that there will always be snacks available to everyone, no matter the situation. Just imagine your favorite candy, your favorite soda, everything just at an arm's reach. That's what they like to have there. So my desk is in a conference room, a small conference room. So I have to share that with a conference table that is pretty much ready to go with snacks all the time. I can't hide them. I can't do anything, because there might be something that comes up and people need to use the room. So it's not like I can grab everything and just throw it in another room and try to hurry and change it back whenever there's time. No, it's got to be ready to go. So I wanted to share with you, this is my life. Okay, here's my desk at work. It's got my water bottle and my bit of apple there. And if I look to my left anytime during the day, I see this. And if for some reason I get thirsty, that's full of sodas and some water. And it never moves. So I think the key takeaway here is that you're gonna have challenges. There's sugar in the world, and you've gotta be ready. You gotta prepare yourself, and you've got to keep in the right mindset, knowing your goal and knowing where you're gonna be, knowing what you're gonna eat, keeping full all the time so the temptation doesn't overcome you. I think this is gonna be another one of those videos where you call me crazy and maybe you don't believe me. So I've got 2 days left after this. I've got Friday and Saturday, and then technically I've done my 14 days. So you think in most normal circumstances, you'd be creating a plan right now, like, oh man, what's the first meal I'm gonna eat? Or I can't wait to have a Oreo cookie or something like that. But it's actually not the case. You realize that how good you feel and how clear you feel, that clarity in your mind, you start to ask yourself, what meal is worth giving this up? Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying, oh, you get to this point, you never want to eat sugar and flour again. That's not quite practical in our society. But you do start asking yourself, like, what is it worth to give up the feeling that you're experiencing right now? It's got to be traded for a meal that's exceptional, not some Eggo waffle on Sunday morning just because I hit my 2 week mark. And that pretty much summarizes what happens when you do a challenge like this. One, you realize you are capable of doing something that you didn't think was possible. And two, you learn that you don't necessarily need to have those foods all the time. So, maybe if I decide Monday night is a really nice burger somewhere, that's fine. Doesn't mean I'm gonna have cereal the next morning and a big sandwich the next lunch and go down that road. It just means that I might have one and then, you know, take the next day back to no sugar, no flour. And you start to integrate that into your healthy lifestyle. So no, I'm not trying to make you so you never enjoy sugar and flour for the rest of your life, or, you know, go forever and never touch it again. But I do encourage you to try something that questions what you're doing now and helps you realize potentially a healthier route going forward. I'd be interested in your comments on that, so feel free to post it below. And I'll see you tomorrow morning for day 13. It's day 13 of the 2-week no sugar, no flour challenge. And it's a little later than I normally post. It's lunchtime. I'm enjoying a giant taco salad with cheese, black olives, taco meat, and a ton of lettuce. So after a conversation with my wife this morning, I just feel too good. I feel more clear. I have a desire to go out and do healthy activities. There's too many benefits for us to throw it away so quickly on Sunday. So we are going to continue forward as long as we can with the no sugar and no flour. Now, this does not mean we're going to do it indefinitely. We've got some events coming up later next week. I'm sure we will partake in some sugar or flour. But as far as menu planning and grocery shopping tomorrow goes, we are going to pretend like we're going into week 2 instead of finishing up. We're going to buy like we're still on the program. And if there's something that I want desperately enough, which is unlikely at this point based on how I feel, that I'm just going to have to drive and go get it. Tomorrow is Saturday, which is our grocery shopping day. And I wanted to share with you kind of my philosophies on grocery shopping. So this might be tough for you to hear, but the battle for your health and your family's health is won or lost at the grocery store. If you are the primary shopper and you do pretty much all your weekly grocery shopping in one shot, then you are determining how you and your family are going to eat for pretty much that entire week. The problem with that is that grocery ads seem to be specifically designed around promoting the worst things possible for us. So that makes it twice as much of a challenge. The only way to combat this is to have a solid plan going in and have a set budget in mind and definitely shop with a list. You have to be able to do that, or else the grocery store is going to get you. If you saw my video this morning, then you know that we're making a decision to just continue forward with no sugar, no flour. And to do that, we had to make that decision in advance for our grocery shopping to make sure that we're on the same page about what we want to do. If not, then I could easily go in and I could buy a package of Oreos and say I'm only going to eat one every night or something, but we all know how that works out. So whether you're doing the 2-week challenge or not, please plan out your groceries, make a list, and stick to it. So the short answer is clarity of the mind, overall better feeling of the body, the joints, just everything. Once you get to day 10, 11, you are able to comprehend how much you've been affected by these foods with huge ingredient lists and all sorts of chemicals and things like that. And you realize that there's something better out there. My wife and I are continuing forward with the no sugar, no flour challenge for the foreseeable future, and at least modify things so we aren't having a huge intake to go back to how we were feeling. Even though at the time we were feeling the way we felt, we didn't realize we were feeling that way because that's the way we always felt. Much like your situation now, probably. So I'm going to recommend you give it a try. 2 weeks out of your life. Watch all the prep videos. Watch my videos throughout. If I can do it, you surely can do it too. All right, it's the last day of the end of the second week of a 2-week challenge without processed sugar and flour. And overall, the challenge went really well. I hope it's going well for you too, and you're wrapping up just like me. So it was important for me to do this on TikTok this time so I could have that level of accountability, and also to show people that, hey, if this middle-aged guy who's really picky, you know, struggles with his weight, can do it, then pretty much anybody out there can do it, which I really believe. So my goal now, just keep continuing forward. If I do have sugar and flour, it'll just be sprinkled in here and there, 1 or 2 meals, not anything super drastic, not diving back in like so many people assume that you would after going 2 weeks without sugar and flour. My hope is that if by watching these videos it motivated you to try something similar or try the full out 2-week challenge, or just try to do something to make yourself a little bit more healthy. That's pretty much my end goal. So congratulations to you. If you completely finished the 2-week challenge and want to post in the comments about how you feel, I'd appreciate that.